Welcome back to another episode of Talk Dead to Me, the only Walking Dead podcast with the guts to start at season 10. I am your host, Johnny Odell. I'm the social media manager for The Walking Dead. With me is Woody Tondorf, and also returning from her European hiatus sabbatical
sojourn,
Alexandra August. Alexandra, welcome back.
Oh, thank you.
Brave enough to return. Where were you?
I was officially in Amsterdam, and then I went to Austria, and then I went to Germany, and I think I told you guys, really missed green vegetables because they don't have any of those in the winter.
Was this like a Taken thing where you were just kind of like paraded through like various black market channels, or was this like a vacation?
Yeah, a little of both.
Little of both. Love it.
Did it start as a vacation, then all of a sudden like you bumped into some like mysterious businessman in like an Amsterdam cafe, and then you ended up with like a briefcase that had several like million unmarked euros?
No.
Great.
No, you can't fit €1 million in a briefcase, first of all. No. Second of all, I was not hurt or taken or anything like that, but I am a vigilante. So, and that's all I'll say.
So today's episode is going to be a little bit different because we're on hiatus and we're just making this shit up as we go. Today, what we're going to do is have a fan mailbag. We've done a lot of these on thewalkingdead.com where you guys send me questions, basically just wanting me to spoil the show. I don't spoil the show, but I kind of lead you in certain ways. And we're also going to kind of introduce ourselves. You know, we've done, 16 of these, Alexandra?
13.
13 of these.
It feels like 16.
We've done like 13 of these, and you guys are probably like, who are these people? Who are these voices? What is...
If you're wondering who Johnny is, he is the dad who doesn't know how old his youngest child is.
That is not true. I think I'm going to be a phenomenal dad, and I will absolutely know the ages and birthdays of everyone.
Okay.
Yeah, very dangerous. All right, so before we jump into the fan mailbag, you guys have a lot of amazing questions coming up. Can't wait to answer them. We just wanted to take just a little bit to kind of describe who we are. So I'll go first because I'm selfish. I'm Johnny. I was born in Cleveland, raised in South Carolina. My social security number is
Don't do that.
And I moved to Los Angeles after college. I went to college at Ohio University, and I first got into Walking Dead when I feel like I'm on like a weird dating show. I first got into The Walking Dead in like season 3. One of my friends like begged me to watch it, and I was like, okay, fine. And I really got into it. And then I got to Skybound in 2015 when I was basically working at The Voice as an audience assistant. And
wait. You gotta. What's that?
I worked on The Voice. Adam Levine, Blake Shelton.
I know what The Voice is.
Yeah,
What's an audio?
An audience assistant. Basically, I was in the crowd telling them how to react to certain songs. Okay, we're waving. Okay,
yes,
now we're clapping. We're jumping. We're doing this. And I also had the super shallow job. Sorry, guys, this is showbiz. Of placing people in camera-ready positions. So even if you were in the front of the line and you were waiting there all day, if you didn't look, quote-unquote, camera-ready, I had to put you in the back.
What were a couple things, conversely, Johnny, that would get you to the front of the line?
It didn't matter where you were in line. Basically, everyone had their own sections, and they just kind of had to order everyone based on their camera readiness. I tried to be nice and put some of the non-camera ready people up
where
front.
You say, like non-camera ready and camera ready. It feels like a euphemism for good looking and less.
Yeah,
good
hot
looking.
or not.
We're talking
Am I
about
right?
Yeah, we're talking about uggos and hotties, and try to put some uggos up front, and I got reprimanded severely. I did. Like, and we have radios that are in our ears, and they would say, Johnny, they're not, get them out of here.
Johnny, you're bringing in Wisconsin 7s. We need LA 8s.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing?
Exactly. And we also had a select group. They were literally called selects, where they were legit just models. And their job was to go from show to show. They were paid on an hourly basis.
What?
And they would just come to these shows. They didn't watch the show. They don't care. They all brought books or magazines that they would read upside down. And yeah, so they would be put in certain places. Oh, I have so many stories, but anyway.
Freaking Billy. Wait, okay, no, I was kind of kidding when I was like, haha, camera ready, not camera ready.
No, the podcast is now about this.
Like, wait, so you're saying like for real that was a euphemism for like put the cuter one, like mainstream cuter ones up front.
Yeah, and That's pretty much true for most live shows, except like
Yeah.
the quote unquote real ones, where it's like Price is Right, where like everyone's a Wisconsin 7. And
Whoa, my friend won the Price is Right, so why don't you back that up?
I'm sorry, no, yeah, well, anyone.
Kansas.
But yeah, so if you're watching like a live show, like I don't know, American Idol, Masked Singer, or something like that, and you're like, wow, the audience is really good looking. Just know that rows and rows and rows behind them, it's like the hills have eyes, and.
Oh my
In
God,
the
now I'm
darkness
scared
are,
to go
like-
to any of these shows because of where they will place me in the audience.
They're like, ma'am, you have to leave.
Oh.
So at the time in 2015, I was doing that part time, and I was also working at Buffalo Wild Wings, just kind of gritting my teeth, being really mad that I went to college for 4 years to, have people scream at me. I want habanero, not medium. So it just really made me really
Picked
bitter.
the wrong restaurant.
But you do know the Buffalo Wild Wings secret menu, though.
Yes, I know some of the secret menu. But anyway, this is going on too long. Basically, I was, always searching for jobs, and I saw Skybound. I didn't know anything about it, and I never really read a comic book, and yet we established that last episode. Never read a comic book, but they liked me anyway for some reason because of my pop culture knowledge. So they decided to hire me. I binged everything, got caught up, and here we are.
That's amazing. I'm picturing you just like over like 48 hours, like watching like Clockwork Orange style, like everything from The Walking Dead, and then coming out and being like, yes, I know everything.
Oh yeah, it was not a good time in my life. But anyway,
It makes sense though that your pop culture expertise got you in the if you're assuming that that's part of what got you in the door. Because one of my favorite parts of the Twitter feed are when you like grab whatever meme and manage to effortlessly seamlessly stick a Walking Dead character in it. I mean, yeah, I like cross universe memes. So
that
good
is
job.
literally the nicest thing you've ever said to me. Yeah.
Get used to it, buddy. It's a new dawn.
All right, Alexandra, since you were so nice, you get to go next. Give us a quick bio and how you got in The Walking Dead and got to Skybound.
My name's Alexandra August, as most of you are hopefully aware, and I am from Toledo, Ohio.
Ayo.
Ew. Johnny and I are both native Ohioans.
Suck it, Michigan.
Suck it, Woody. And
What? That was unnecessary.
and then I went to Xavier University for college down in Cincinnati. So Ohio, until I decided to move to Los Angeles and pursue acting and performing and all manner of creative stuff. As you can all tell, that worked out really well. I'm very famous.
Top of the world.
With that challenge behind me, I started looking to other creative endeavors, and that led me to journalism and podcasting. And I started a few podcasts on my own about Game of Thrones and Star Trek and all kinds of other stuff. Well, no, just those two things.
Is it true that the original title of this play was Alexandra August Osage County, and they shortened it?
Oh, of the play.
Yeah,
of the play, not me. You did not.
And it was based on your life, right?
No, my full name is Alexandra August of Osage County.
Got it.
And, then,
Where's Osage?
What's his bum? Osage County? I don't know. Missouri?
Sure, right by the Ozarks.
It's due southeast.
Oklahoma?
Of
You'll see it when you get to it.
Anyway, so I got to Skybound because people were hiring because I was looking for work and they were hiring a podcast producer, and we came together and a match made in heaven, and within a couple of months I had started a new podcast with you,
wow.
which is fun.
Oh, what a tragic ending. Woody.
Started so promising and just ends in the basement. Actually, no, that's not true. I mean, now you're in our multi-million-dollar podcasting studio. I don't know. While you were gone, we got a new a British butler, Nigel.
I wondered what that guy was doing over there.
Yeah, Walton wasn't working out.
Oof. Yeah, we don't talk about Walton.
I'm gonna need a martini, Nigel. Thank you.
Ooh, Nigel, can we do 2?
Make it 3.
As to how I came to The Walking Dead, I have kind of picked at it here and there just for some I've never been like a huge zombie person, so I wasn't immediately a deadhead. I started watching it, was like, oh, this is very good. And then fell off track. But then when I was working for Comic Book Resources, they asked me to cover the whole show, which is really fun to do because it means you get to write everything about it. And then when you do like any convention or something, you get to interview, you get to go to the press conferences and sit at the round tables. And if there are phone interviews, that goes to you. So it was just a really fun opportunity. And I was forced to rewatch or to catch up on the rest of the series. So I binged seasons 3 through 7 in about 10 days.
Ooh.
Oof.
And it was like affected my outlook on the world to the to the extent that like I was leaving. I talked to myself a lot because I used to work from home, and as
Good
I was
cover.
yes, exactly. Woody caught it.
How many like are you still there messages did you get from Netflix during that period?
Oh my god!
Like, did they send an ambulance after like season 5?
Well, no, because you have to actually press continue. It's very interruptive. But I was at the end of it. I was walking outside my door to go run an errand, and I literally had sunglasses in my hand, and I like looked to the left and put on my sunglasses and said, "There's gonna be a reckoning." To no one in particular, and for no reason in particular. I just got immersed.
Holy shit.
Well, this is scary.
That's amazing.
Is Comic Book Resources like a Michael's for just comic book supplies?
No, it began as a website. It began as an independent website. I'm just going to ignore the shitty little comment that she played, the sarcasm that was in play in that, because CBR covers our show a lot.
Well, Skybound, we all know, is a trampoline company. So
Yes.
Real talk, didn't somebody, like, in the beginning when we moved to this office, like, some folks showed up with trampolines?
Oh, constantly. We actually had a few trampolines delivered to us, and then like the execs decided to send them back for some reason.
What?
Lame.
I know.
We have a whole roof that's unused.
We've had multiple people come to our place because I think Skybound's also the name of like an indoor skydiving company, and a lot of people came in like with their kids, and we're like, "Hey, we're here to skydive," and we're like, "Well, you can like jump off the roof, but you're not gonna, survive it."
Do you want to read some
All we
comics
have
instead?
Yeah, here we have a baseball bat covered in blood and barbed wire.
That'll be $1,000.
Would you like a can of sparkling water?
Great. Well, does that wrap up your entire life story?
More or less.
Sounds good. Woody,
Yes?
what would Woody tell us about you?
Oh, fine. I'm Woody Tondorf. I work for the games group. I wrote, directed, and was in a viral video back in like 2009 called The Great Office War. Some people call it The Great Office Nerf War. It's a big 30-on-30 office Nerf battle.
30 for 30 or 30 on 30?
30 versus 30, but was covered on a 30 for 30 by ESPN.
That's great.
Shut
Yeah.
up.
No, it wasn't, but
Oh.
but it got me for the 30 under 30s for that.
Oh.
Shut
Yeah.
up.
No, that also didn't happen. No, although
Alexandra.
I was in Sports Illustrated's like 20 under. It was like 25 under 25 for like. Long story short, a decade and change ago, I made a web series called The BC that was a parody of the OC that took place at my alma mater, Boston College.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
It's available online. I do not recommend that you check it out.
Please, everyone, check
It
it out.
is.
I'm writing down the
horseshit.
title.
It was really bad, but like YouTube didn't exist. It had like it was going to be born like a year after we started it. So like people were like, "Oh my god, moving pictures on the internet. That's not porn. Like what a concept."
Wait, it wasn't porn?
It was parts of it were the dialogue was pornish.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you get like a Phantom Planet cover band to do the theme song? Boston College, here we come.
Right back where we started from.
Yeah,
Boston College, here we
Yard, kid.
Oh.
Wow, that's the high point of the podcast. You can shut it off after that now. Like,
Could that
there's-
be-
what more is there to go?
I'd like
That's
to
it.
apologize to Gabe Sarkis because we, who made our original theme song, because this is our new one.
That's it.
Boston College. Fucking love Dante.
It's so pitch perfect to the whole mass whole thing. So I lived all over the world because my dad worked for Pepsi and he got transferred a bunch. But he was born and raised in Massachusetts. So was my mom. So
Do you hate Coke?
Desperately? Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Coke is the worst. When
So-
they're like, "Is Pepsi okay?" I'm like, "Pepsi's the best."
Your family's not going to off you, Woody. You can say what you're going to say.
Pepsi is excellent. It is effervescent and delicious.
I have Coke with me. Will this burn your skin?
I'm gonna knock Nigel. Can we get the Coke out of here, please?
Nigel,
No,
Nigel.
leave the cocaine. So
You have to be more specific, Johnny.
So I moved out here. I actually got to deal with HBO to like teach them about the internet. So I
What?
ended up being. I know.
What?
Again, it was a very weird time.
I'm so glad you went last.
Wow, you really fell from grace.
Yeah, seriously, right? How did I end up in this place? Well,
Yikes.
so the reason I ended up at Skybound after all this stuff, doing like I was
HBO.
I was at HBO teaching them about they were like, we make The Sopranos and True Blood and The Wire.
Did they have to announce that? Did you not know what it was?
I didn't. I'm like, tell me more about. It's just Entourage, I think. They're like, no, we're so much more. I remember.
Well, this was like way before people had HBO with like as ubiquitously as they do now. Like I remember that time, and like there was like obviously there was no iPad, there was no HBO Go. You had to pay for HBO, and that like tons of people just didn't do that.
I used to watch The Sopranos on Sundays with my parents, and when I went to college, they would send me VHS tapes of like Sopranos episodes to be like, here you go. But you would also end up in that weird like Sunday night with like Tony going to the Bada Bing, sitting next to like your dad. Being like, or like Tony's getting head in like the SUV, and you're like, Mom, I'm gonna pop down real quick and not come back for the rest of the episode. Bye. So then I would come out to this like this premier, incredible cable television company, and they're like, they stuck us in a different building on the campus that was literally nothing. Like there were some cubicles and some chairs, and we called it HBO daycare because it was me, my co-producer. This amazing Ohio comedian, Mike Polk, was our head writer. He did the Factory of Sadness, Cleveland Browns video thing. He's fantastic. And we had a couple other people, and we just kind of like made it work. We turned the end of a hallway into a makeshift like elevator and made a web series that was just about what happens within an elevator. And that
dope.
Yeah, it was great. And went on for like 200 episodes, and I created that series, and that turned me into like I gotta say C-list YouTube star. I then went and made arguably the most middling, mediocre piece of web content of all time.
Meaning he was really proud of it.
No, I was really proud of it at the time that we made it, and then looking back on it, like when I actually saw it in fruition, I like watched it through my fingers, being like, "This is bad."
Tell us what it is.
It's called Hooking Up. It's on YouTube. It stars Phil DeFranco.
Wow.
Oh, you mentioned this in a previous episode that you knew him because of this. Okay.
And it's real bad. And at some point, we'll do a podcast just to talk about how the shit that thing got made.
Are we going to jump right into it?
We're going to jump right into it. Oh, man. Phil was such a good sport to actually be on that show because, like, clearly they casted him without asking any questions of, like, can this dude act? And he was like, I'm just going to go for it. And we put him in with, like, a bunch of other actors, and he really held his own. And by the end of it, like, he came off, like, in the beginning, just kind of looking around, being like, I don't know how any of this stuff works. And by the end of it, like, you could see that he had the confidence. He was doing really well. I think if he ever wanted to keep doing that, he would be really good at it. But, like, Phil is just so great as his own dude, like, talking about the news, having a point of view, and just being, like, a really great content creator that, like, why would he ever stay away from that thing?
So how did you get catapulted off that mountain and into Skybound?
So a couple years ago, I came to Skybound to pitch a Tech Jacket TV show.
Oh, really?
That was going to be produced and directed by Freddie Wong and the video game High School Rocket Jump
You actually
team.
Read that?
Oh, yeah. Oh, I love Tech Jacket. That was my whole thing. Like,
I don't think anyone did.
My first introduction to Skybound was through Invincible. I read it on like through Comixology and like lost my mind because I deeply loved that book.
Yeah.
And then I saw the Tech Jacket character and nobody was doing anything with it. And I was like, here's this, like, this character is great. It's Iron Man meets Spider-Man meets Green Lantern with like 100% less guilt. Like, let's just go do it. And it boggled my mind that nobody read the book. So we had this really great pitch. We were going to go and do it. And it was just very clear from the onset that, like, they did not want to go and make a Tech Jacket TV show. They were only here to have the meeting with Freddie Wong. And so I'm sitting in the meeting as they're like, we really want to talk about video game high school and how we can make that a franchise. Who's this guy? I'm like, hello, I'm Woody. I like Invincible. I like everything you guys do. I know a couple people here. And they're like, okay.
Was that you as Kermit the Frog?
Yeah, I don't know.
It was Woody like several years ago, I guess.
Yeah, that's what I talked like back in the day. There are videos. So all that is to say that by the end of that, they went, well, Freddie's going to go and do his thing. And I kept hanging around. And they're like, well, we don't have anything for you. Definitely not the TV show. But we're doing stuff within video games. Do you want to make some stuff over here? And I made a TV show for Disney XD that was like a Twitch meets Pee-wee's Playhouse thing called Parker Plays. And I had just finished doing that. And they said, come on board, do some like freelance stuff for us. We like games. You like to make stuff. Let's do it. And by the end of that, they were like, you're really nice and generally pleasant to be around. Let's turn you into a full-time position. And now I'm here.
Wow. Well, that's great. That's really heartwarming.
That's a really interesting. I had no idea. Thank you, listeners, for being guinea pigs while I learn about Woody. I had no idea that you had done these. You had produced this much, and that was your way into Skybound. That's really neat.
I'm like the Forrest Gump of YouTube. Like if you look at like major like YouTube events and like everything that's gone on, like you can see me kind of in the background or like stumbling into like I spoke at the first VidCon I was nominated for like one of the second Streamies for a comedy series.
Aw.
Shut up. That's the
and that
streamies for this past Friday, folks.
Yeah, and I was at the second Streamies. I was at the first Streamies, but the second one was where, and I don't know if anybody remembers this, but it was an absolute shitstorm that canceled the Streamies for like 2 years. And I was there through that like 3-hour debacle being like, this is not how this should go. I love it.
All right, now we're going to get into the meat of the episode, the mailbag. This is something that I usually do on a monthly basis where I ask people on Twitter to give us questions. They basically want me to spoil the show. I never do. But anyway, we asked you guys to do it in a voicemail version. So if you want to do this, we do it every week. Call in to 213-536-1275. Hope you had a pen or just a rewind button. And this week we asked just, ask us anything. So we're going to listen to your voicemails and then also read some tweets for those who can't follow instructions. And it's going to be super fun. You guys ready?
Sure am.
Yes.
Great. All right. The first one comes from Dylan.
Hi, this is Dylan. I live in Georgia, right around where The Walking Dead is filmed, which is awesome. I just want to ask, where the hell is Eduardo? Thank you.
So
To the point.
thank you, Dylan. We actually get that question quite a lot on
Really?
Twitter. Yeah, we do. For this hilltop soldier, Eduardo. I don't actually have the real answer to it. So we're off to a great start. But, we can always theorize what happened to him. I think during the time jump, as we know how the time jump worked is that everyone was just minding their own business until a giant portal, like Watchmen style, just transported them 6 years into the future.
Yep.
And that's why no one died during it.
Tracks.
And how did they age? Good question. Well, we're not. I don't want to. Don't poke holes in this. Me. And I think Eduardo just missed the memo about the teleportation. So I think he's still stuck 6 years in the past. That's my theory.
I believe that Eduardo, during the time jump, went out after like a hunting party or something like that. He has a spear. He's obviously skilled with it. He went out, got separated from the group, and was found by one of the first scouting parties of the Whisperers, was killed, and one of them is currently wearing an Eduardo suit.
Oh, love that.
So Eduardo's been in front of
Love
us
that.
the whole time. That's
Very
where
dark.
he is, folks.
Very dark.
That's way better.
Love it. All right. Next is Jennifer.
Hi, this is Jennifer calling from Hamilton. The question I have for the mailbag would be, I want to know, where is Lucille? In previous episodes, Michonne had mentioned that she got rid of it. Negan had his breakdown in the cell. However, we don't have any proof of that. I want to know if she lied, if she actually has it, if it is still in that field, or possibly if someone else picked it up. It'd be great to know, great to find out. Maybe possibly we'll find out the rest of the season. Maybe it won't be till the next season. But that's my question for the mailbag. Thank you so much for your time. Bye.
Thank you so much, Jennifer.
This is a very pleasant sign-off. Thanks,
Yeah,
Jennifer.
you're welcome for our time. I'm happy to give it to you.
So we've seen Lucille make a cameo in the season 10 trailer where Michonne is holding it, looking pretty sinister. So
I love that part.
So there's no way of knowing what that means, except I do know what that means, but I can't say it. I mean, again, who knows?
Do you get the episodes early?
I do, yes, and we've confirmed that.
Here's my theory on that is that Michonne holding Lucille is one of those like classic trailer fake out moments that like either she's holding the 2 seal that Brandon made for him, or like
Wait, I was in my car the other day, guys, and I cannot believe we as Arrested Development viewers missed an opportunity to introduce that bat as Lucille too.
Yep, we're really not great at our jobs. Look, we're just starting out. It's only episode 16, so I think it's destroyed. I don't see any reason why you would keep that like monument to devastation. Like best case scenario, like Negan, best case scenario, it just sits there in like a trophy case, like the fucking giant penny from Batman. So like worst case scenario, Negan gets his dirty little mitts on it and starts swinging again. I don't see the utility in keeping that sort of death implement.
I'm pretty sure it's destroyed.
I agree with I don't know that it's destroyed. I agree with you that it doesn't make sense to keep that. I don't understand why Michonne would have kept it. I believe that it was in her possession at one point as she's, security and this sort of de facto like security leader in Alexandria. I do think her holding it and being like that, her holding it in that position with that look on her face, is sort of speaks to the broader themes of this season of like, are we the evil people now? Like, you know, what we were really, really certain that the saviors are bad, and we're really certain that the whisperers are bad, but what about us? Like, how are people perceiving us? And Michonne has been going to Negan straight up for advice here and there, and they've kind of formed this working relationship, and she's sort of from what I understand, sort of taken the place of Rick in the comics in that capacity with him kind of telling, anyway. So I wouldn't be surprised if if Lucille is not destroyed, and Michonne has a moment of like actually trying to kill somebody with it, like the way Negan did.
We will see a Lucille later this season. It may not be the Lucille. We'll see. Who knows? I do.
I'm gonna have a whole riff if it turns out to be the actual OG Lucille.
That'd be great
for so many reasons.
It also makes sense that it isn't the original if she just made a new one or somebody
Why
made a new
hold on
one.
to it? It doesn't make a lick of sense.
It's cool looking.
I'm pretty sure it's destroyed.
I have
So
one.
are spears. Spears are cool looking.
All right, next question. Love these mailbag questions, guys. We'll definitely have to do it again.
Hi, my name is Darius Quarters. I come from Cincinnati, Ohio. And my question is, will we get to see any scenes between Michonne and Maggie before Michonne's departure?
Darius, let me answer your question with a question. If you have Denai and Lauren on the call sheet, who are huge actresses who carry a huge amount of audience appeal, why in the world would you not put those two in the same episode if you had a chance? I think if you've got it, use it. I think they'll intersect as a like Michonne on her way out, Maggie on her way in type thing.
Yeah, I think if only for the sake of the fact that they're both big OGs at this point. And I like the fact that even though The Walking Dead has turned over its cast a couple of times and we get these new stories, I do like these solid, lasting relationships between people who've been on the show for as long as Michonne and Maggie have.
My question is, who's going to get Michonne's katana by the end?
Judith.
But she's already got Needle already.
Judith.
She can't hold that giant sword.
That's what makes it adorable.
Ugh.
All I'll say is when Maggie does return, it'll be towards the very, very end. So if Michonne's still around, maybe.
I don't think it's a necessity that they do meet as much as I would like to see that, I could definitely see them being like, yep, well, ships passing in the night, which would be like very sad.
It would honestly make more story sense if the two never intersected again, but I think just from like an appointment viewing type deal, like why wouldn't you?
All right, now to our next one, our last voicemail version. This comes from Ellie, and this is my favorite.
Hi, this is Ellie from Salt Lake, and I was wondering what your personal plans would be in the zombie apocalypse. Thanks, guys. Nice show.
All right, so she asked what our personal plan would be for a zombie apocalypse. Alexandra is standing on her chair.
Love you, Ellie.
And cleaning a gun.
Cleaning a gun. Where did you get that gun?
Wouldn't you like to know? I'll get things to those who wait.
Well, I did just ask.
Yep, doubly so.
I'm not giving away my plans. You guys should have figured out a zombie apocalypse plan on your own.
So is this your backup or your decoy?
I'm just going to shoot everyone.
All right, Woody, who's more prepared? Woody,
yeah, sure. Go to Woody. I'll wait.
All right, Woody, well, you're a little bit more prepared. What is your zombie apocalypse plan? So we can all copy it.
It's funny that you mentioned copying, Johnny, because I am copying my plan off of Melissa Hutchinson's, a.k.a. Clementine's plan.
Making copies.
The Woodmeister.
The plan is simple. We go north, and we find an island north side.
Why north?
Well, ostensibly, the north will, if zombies are working like any other like normal organism, you can slow them down through ice and snow and all of that stuff.
Ooh, this is science, not the Starks, as I suspected.
Right. No. We're not trying to it's not like some prophecy. Like Father never said that we should go and do this thing. No, and then you want to find an island because that's a naturally a natural border around you. You don't have to really worry about building like walls and stuff like that. You've got water all around you. If you can figure out ways to desalinate that, or if you find it in a lake or something like that, you're all set.
Yep.
Do you keep yourself trapped on an island? Yes, but let's not get into the particulars. Figure out first steps first, and then figure out a long-term survival strategy after that.
The other options were not good if you want to leave the island. Like, I understand, like, island fever, but no choice.
Well, I'm going to cast away that idea And
What?
I would like to find a place similar to Herschel's where it's like some sort of like random barn that's really in the country with nothing around it. Try to build as big of a sort of, barrier around it. This is some place that's already set up to grow things, have animals who can reproduce. You can reproduce with the animals if you get bored. And I think that's my plan.
Huh.
Bestiality.
Bestiality.
just pure, unadulterated bestiality.
Dress for the job you want.
That's what Dr. Doolittle's really about.
So I used
He
to
talks
blog-
to the animals so we can get consent.
Yeah, uh-huh.
Yep.
All right, Alexandra, what would you do in a zombie apocalypse?
Well, okay. So I used to belong to a sketch group called Casual Mondays, and we were shooting this one sketch in my friend's house called Ghost Observers, and more on that later. And while we were doing that, we were just kind of like, I don't know how we got on the subject, but basically we were like, I kind of wanted to create a webpage that was just zombie apocalypse. What's your plan? And have that be like just a joke in and of itself. And so we all started kind of formulating one, and we realized that we need to be the team when the apocalypse happens. We need to find each other. So my friend Lucas and I lived on the west side, close to, in LA terms, in Venice and Marina del Rey, so we're coastal. So we agreed that Lucas would find a boat and that I would gather supplies from like all the pharmacies and everything, birth control being chief among them, water, other things like that.
Good start.
Get it to Lucas. We'd find a boat. Lucas has a desalinator. For real fact. And so he was obviously going to bring that. My friend Christine had lived the farthest east, and then we had a couple of people in Hollywood. So we realized that we need to get Christine and we need to get Christine east, and also she's going to have to caravan everybody and come and get them so they can stay safe in their homes. And Christine used to live in a lot of different places, and she goes, that I still have keys for. So if we need to hunker down, I'll be able to get into somebody's home.
That's great.
First things first, Christine is dead. Like I like that you have a whole plan.
Met Christine.
I can't get from Marina del Rey to east of the 405 in the regular peacetime.
Traffic's easier going west.
That's fair.
Who's going to be heading west? Where else there to go?
And literally everybody who's trying to get to a boat.
What's the most realistic zombie piece of media that you've seen that you're like, yeah, that's probably more likely how it would go? I mean, we have Zombieland. We have, 28 Days Later. We have...
That's a really good question.
I would honestly say Fear, the first season of Fear.
The first season of Fear?
Yeah. Only because that's the one that like really deals directly with the immediate aftermath. That's why I don't say the other seasons. But just the idea of everything falling so quickly and the people and us not being able to react. People specifically protecting the zombies when cops are trying to shoot them because nobody understands what they are yet, and that's slowing everything down and allowing more people to get infected.
Yeah, I agree that there would be like riots immediately, and I think the military would come in and try to contain it, and then they would have like these really like cruel
There'd
liberties.
be protests everywhere. Yeah, there'd be protests everywhere. And
yeah, but I mean, they'd be shooting people down in their streets, and there would be probably containment camps at the Forum.
I think World War Z to me is the one that gets it the most correct because of the
CGI zombies.
Well, actually, like kind of precisely for that point, because I just cannot buy the idea of I just can't go along with the idea of like slow shuffling zombies would eventually take over the world. It just doesn't track with me. Like you would need some other different catastrophic thing to happen at the same time in order for like the entirety of like the communications grid and all that stuff to just like go down. Otherwise, I just think like, honestly, like the military actually has handbooks for should this sort of shit happen.
Of zombies?
Yes, it's half done in jest, but it's also like you have so much time just sitting around like in the military that like, of course they get around to talking about like, hey bro, if zombies actually happen, what would you do?
But it wouldn't even be zombies. It would be what would happen is, what if some disease took over people where everyone went mentally insane? It wouldn't be literally zombies like rising from the dead. It would just be that.
To that point, it's so interesting that you bring up the military. My mom was military, but finished her career in intelligence in civil service, and her job was director of continuity, which basically meant her job was to get everyone where they needed to go in the event of a large-scale disaster. I think that's part of it. She's not great at describing what she does to people who are not inside baseball, so I think I got it. And she's not listening, so... But she described to me essentially like what she did and what she had to plan for. And I was on the phone with her and I was like, Mom, you're describing what to do in the event of a zombie apocalypse. Like protect the president. That's the one thing that I also didn't that's the one part of the Walking Dead based apocalyptic universes is that I feel like there would be some significant leadership probably left.
Yeah.
And a lot of wealthy people to an extent. I don't think it would be the great equalizer as we've kind of seen it, though we might see a little bit of that in World Beyond if we get more into like the Three Rings community. And
the one post-apocalyptic one that I'd say like really gets it for me, it's not zombies, but an old CBS show called Jericho.
Oh yeah, I remember
Oh,
that.
yeah.
Only for 2 seasons, but like that was a whole thing like where the president was very much alive, but there was also a second president who was representing a different part of like the United States and stuff like that. Like if you like is
West
NORAD
Wing, the apocalypse. Oh my God.
No, that's the show that I really want to watch, because to me, like, the zombie apocalypse would kick off, hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people would die, and then the military just crushes that shit, but you still have, like, zombies that are still around and a whole, like, rebuilding to where I want to see that TV show. Where
Yeah.
like you're still eradicating pockets of zombies, you still have flare-ups and stuff like that. It's kind of like an epilogue to like World War Z type deal.
I really liked Shaun of the Dead as well, just because I felt
yeah.
like it was like pretty practical in the way that you would move about. Like you probably
Yes.
would like have like a dying family member. You would have to hole up in a bar and get creative and stuff. And yeah. All right, so we're going to do some rapid fire questions we have from Twitter, and we're just going to give quick answers, no explanation. We'll just round robin it, and anyone has an answer, even if it's not the right one, we're just going to say it. All right, first up is Bella, a.k.a. at Michonne's Bitch. What are Rosita's favorite kind of cookies? I'm pretty sure sugar. Okay.
I'm going to say Snickerdoodle.
All right.
Rosita doesn't eat cookies. Look at her.
Fair point.
All right, next one is at Neelam fan. Is Daryl ever going to have a baby?
Well, Daryl can't.
What?
That's not how boys work. But maybe with Connie, I think he'd be such a good dad.
He'd be such a great dad.
Okay, the next one is Cusano Thomas. Where's Dollar General? There's literally one on every corner.
This is an excellent point, and I don't have an answer for that.
I think they've all been raided. I think that's the first place that went
We
down.
would see a sign, though, I think is what he's...
I think the signs were taken too as like sort of like a, sort of
Scrap,
like, yeah.
or, yeah.
Or nostalgia.
Some comedian tried to ruin The Walking Dead years ago by asking who's mowing all the lawns.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, don't be a dick.
And I was like, fair point, dude.
You know what? The crew is mowing the lawns, all right?
I would
Do you
love
want to
it-
watch someone mow a fucking lawn?
There's like a supernatural force like Stephen King's The Langoliers who just come and just like mow the lawns of the post-apocalypse.
Into it.
All right, next one is at SugarBeth00. Will fans of Michonne be pleased with how her exit pans out? I know the answer to the question. I don't really want to give it away, but I think fans will generally not be rioting in the streets. At least I hope not. Okay.
Whoever knows what the fandom wants, I'm going to say it's a toss-up.
I can tell you there will definitely be people who hate it because there are definitely people who hate everything.
It is very true.
Find some joy in your lives, folks.
All right. At Jas Cherry. How's Lydia doing? Great.
She's all right. Thanks for asking.
Next one is at Grimes Vincent. How epic is Michonne's exit from a scale of 1 to 10? I'll probably give it a 7.
I'm going to say 6.9.
I'm going to say 13, and I know nothing about it.
Great.
Oh, I thought he meant like how epic was her departure like in the mid-season finale.
No, her upcoming one.
Oh, well, I don't know.
I was like, wow, Woody's just going right for a rating.
Pretty nice rating.
All right, this one is a visual clue. At Dickazon, it just says when, and then I'm going to show you guys the image.
No, don't show it to me. Describe it to me.
Okay, so the image is, remember when Lori was dead and Rick was hallucinating her?
Yeah,
And she was
that
in the
was
white
great.
dress?
Yeah.
So imagine that from the neck down, but then from the neck up, Sadiq's head.
Oh my God, so pretty.
Great question. When? I'm going to let Alexandra answer that one.
I'm going to go with Rosita maybe had that spell during the hiatus.
I'm gonna go with that's what Baby Coco sees every day, but has no way to actually talk about it.
Ooh, no, better, even better. That is what Dante saw in his dreams for the one night that he remained alive after killing Sadiq.
Love it, ship it, canon.
Oh, cannot wait for that in season 12.
Boy, Dante, Sadiq, star-crossed lovers.
Confirmed.
All right, at Simvibo RG. Will Maggie have a lot to fix when she returns to Hilltop? Yeah, I think there's a lot of pipes that are leaky. I think they should assign someone to be in charge of that giant lever that controls the bad water from the good water. Seems like a big oversight. There's a lot of jobs to go around in this place and a lot of people. I feel like after this little kerfuffle, where like half the town died from this.
The tree.
I like that that's what you're mentioning. Yeah, but also like there's also a giant ass tree that's taken down part of the wall. I guess Eugene's probably on that. But...
I would be really, really excited if Maggie got back and she was just like, hi, I'm burnt the fuck out. I'm going to stay in this room with my kid. I'm going to chill out. I'm going to like smoke cigarettes and drink beer and I'm just going to be on vacation for the rest of my life because what have you done?
Are you projecting yourself onto Maggie?
No, I don't really like beer.
Okay.
That's a joke. I do enjoy beer. I do not enjoy cigarette.
And that wraps up this week's episode of Talk Dead to Me. Thank you guys so much for listening. Even though you might be like, hey, Johnny, there was no guest. Guess what? You were the guest. How about that?
You did great.
It was you. You, season 2. Guys, we have some very, very, very exciting guests. I don't want to ruin it now, but we have some very exciting guests coming up through the new year. We're going to be podcasting every damn week. Woody and Alexandra have begged me to go home to their families and have a proper holiday season, and I have refused. So keep tuning in every Sunday night or sometimes Monday morning, and you can listen to us.
We will be here until till the return of The Walking Dead in February. So.
I have locked the doors.
So if we could just get a little more toilet paper.
I'm so hungry.
No.